CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chrysler. Chrysler believes a luxury car should be a great driving car. At Chrysler, we're driving to be the best. Delta Airlines, we love to fly, and it shows. And by Wendy's, where you get the best burgers in the business.
We're ready for the second half of play here at Philadelphia. The Eagles lead by 3. Sharp shooting by Danny White of the Cowboys, 14 of 18, has kept the Cowboys in it despite 2 turnovers and a blocked field goal suffered by the Cowboys. Eagles receive. It is Bobby Morse, hit hard at the 15-yard line. Bill Bates, number 40, making the initial contact. Well, we talked about Danny White's personal stats, 14 of 18. You can see he's rolled up 162 yards in the first half, and he has been razor sharp, Joe.
Well, he has, but also what you notice is the yards passing in favor of the Cowboys. Obviously, they can't run the football. I don't think they'll be able to this afternoon, or the rest of the ball game this second half. But the one thing that the Eagles are going to have to do is mount some offense. 81 yards in the first half is not enough to carry your football team. You can't hope to win it just with the defense. So this series is very important to the Eagle offense.
Cunningham 6 of 12 in the first half with a touchdown pass. Keith Byers ran into his own man. And Everson Walls drives him out. It'll be a gain of maybe 2 yards, and there are those first half stats we just alluded to. 174 yards in the air for White. Cunningham 52 yards.
But a lot of really key completions by Danny White. Cunningham not put in a situation where he has to make the big ones. White completing a 3rd down and 18, a 3rd down and 17. Some really big key plays for Danny White in the first half.
2nd down and 8. Eagles opening the second half. Quick drop and pass, dropped by Kenny Jackson. The ball was there. Jackson eager to turn upfield to get to the first down marker, and he just dropped it.
You know, Eagles really had some great opportunities. Dallas is 15, Dallas is 22, Dallas is 9, and all they come away with is 10 points. Now you might say, gee, that's all, but they did miss that crucial field goal. When they've had the ball, they've moved it into pretty good position. Both teams have only punted the ball 1 time in the first half, I might add, as well, which means that their offenses have taken charge of the game.
Yeah, in fact, no, Dallas has yet to punt. Saxon has not punted yet for Dallas. 4 receivers in, but Cunningham is dropped inside the 10 by Randy White. Randy White with a sore leg and a sore neck and putting sore things on other people out there as usual.
Well, there's Randy White to the right of your screen. He's just going to make his move. You see him come around. That's a big trick. Ed Jones over the center. The twisting and tricking up front, confusing the Eagle offensive line. Randy makes that big loop and gets his hands on Cunningham.
Telchik will have to punt from his end zone. Takes a cowboy bounce and down by the Eagles at about their 35. So Dallas with excellent field position to start this second half. Jody Schultz grabbed the ball and downed at a 27-yard punt for Telchik. And the Cowboys, as you can see, did not have the same good fortune with field position as the Eagles did in the first half, but they certainly have it now.
Nor did they have the results. Field goal, fumble, blocked field goal. Then they scored the TD just before halftime. All things considered, they're very fortunate to be only 3 points behind.
The 33-yard line of Philadelphia. Walker runs into traffic, and he is stopped after a gain of maybe 2. Seth Joyner made the stop.
That time he was a man looking for a place to hide. The Eagle defense reacting to Herschel Walker, knowing how he can hurt him. All flowed towards the sidelines. He turned around, they turned around.
Interesting to hear Danny White talking about Tony Dorsett, saying, you know, all credit to Herschel Walker. We have an injured player, Andre Waters, on the field for the Eagles. All credit to Walker, who's a tremendous talent. He said, I still think Tony Dorsett is the best running back in the game. And he just feels his skills of his quickness and His vision, that was interesting. How well he sees the field are just assets most runners don't have.
His anticipation also of knowing where to make the cut, sort of one step ahead of the defense, knowing they're going to flow so he can cut back to a hole. Still, you know, after 11 years, he's still a premier running back, and I don't believe he's lost that much of a step. You know, you don't see him in the fastest man competition, but we've seen him go the distance, 99 yards in ball games. A lot of contests I've stood on the sidelines, and hopefully he would trip somewhere along the way, but he'd gain a lot of yardage. When we played against the Cowboys when I was a Redskin, our biggest concern was stopping Tony Dorsett.
Andre Waters still down out there, and it appears his leg is getting some treatment as we look at Tony, and you can see very much he wants to catch Jim Brown. That's obviously a very possible goal for him, and had some feelings about not wanting to run in the replacement games. Thought those statistics would be phony ones, not real NFL stats, but he was handed the ball and picked up yardage. On the season, he's got 243 yards. And there you see Dorsett can certainly catch Franco and Jim Brown. Very realistic goal. Walter Payton, well, who knows? Tony's 33 years old.
That's like trying to catch Father Time.
Russell Gary into the ball game for Andre Waters. Second down and 8, Cowboys. Herschel Walker stuffed in the middle. He has not had a whole lot of success trying the middle. Jerome Brown, the big rookie from Miami, and Seth Joyner. Brown, what an enthusiastic young man he is, and he said Reggie White kind of sponsored him when he arrived as a rookie #1 pick this year, and Reggie took him under his wing and said, well, Reggie's my idol, I like that. But he asked him last week, who's your idol? He says, well, this week it's Ken Clark.
Yeah, he's going for an idol of the week. It's changed his whole philosophy a little bit.
He's a terrific kid. Plays the keyboards, and he's teaching Mike Quick how to play the keyboards right in the locker room. Third down and 7. White. Complete. Kelvin Edwards. First down, Dallas. And they're now at the Eagles' 17-yard line.
I'm sure the Eagles are aware of Kelvin Edwards and what he did last time they played, even though it was a replacement game. White just, there goes Hogue up the middle again. White just sets in the pocket, makes the throw. They're all timing routes. Kelvin Edwards goes down 10 yards, stops, turns around, and Danny White puts the ball right where it should be.
Well, Danny had some good things to say about Kelvin Edwards. He likes what he's seen of this young man. Edwards, a 4th pick of the Saints last year, but released in training camp this year. Walker gets a little more running room and carries a couple of Eagles with him close to the 10-yard line.
Little misdirection. You'll see Danny White set behind him as Timmy Newsome. Fakes to the fullback going one way, bring it back to Herschel Walker inside. Rafferty slips down, or else he'd had a bigger hole. Reichenbach gets a tackle on, the safeties come in and hit him, then everybody hits him.
Hogue, Waters, and Simmons all required to stop Herschel Walker on that one. 2nd and 5. Cowboys after the short Eagles punt in good field position. Walker tripped up behind the line. Ken Clark, number 71, got a hand on him to slow him up. And then Reichenbach arrived with Joyner. Gain of less than a yard for Walker on that one.
Well, you know, we've talked all day. I think the Cowboys are really running the football just because you're supposed to. They haven't gained many yards except the one Herschel Walker broke earlier in the first half. They probably have an average 1 or 2 yards on first down. They put Danny White in a 3rd down and long situation most of the afternoon, and he's come up with big plays.
White from the shotgun. Sideliner, Cosby, complete. Driven out by Gary Cobb, close to another Dallas first down. It'll be just short. 4th and a half yard for the Cowboys at the 7-yard line of the Eagles.
It's an interesting decision by Tom Landry. He's going to go for the 3 points. He's not going to try and risk it. I guess he learned his lesson against the Giants a few weeks ago when they tried to go for it on 4th down. They didn't make it. They got stuffed.
But you're not implying that you'd be going for it here.
Sure, why not? Yeah. Well,
I don't know. 10:32 to go in the third period.
Yeah, but the Eagles haven't really moved the ball well offensively, so you've kept the pressure all on afternoon. You get 7 points in here, you really put a lot of pressure on the Eagles offense.
Roger Ruzek is good with a field goal, and we have a tie football game at Veterans Stadium. 10:28 to go, third quarter.
A6, hurry and you'll make it.
Delta Airlines ticket agent Sam Singletary knows how to get people moving.
Mr. Franklin, your bag.
But sometimes he has to show off a few moves of his own. The kind of moves that made him a first-string halfback. Sam Singletary shares a feeling with everyone at Delta. He loves what he's doing, and it shows.
We love to fly.
He's the kid.
And it shows.
Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she moves me, I don't want to leave her now.
Its power will move you. Its beauty will stop you. The LeBarons, coupe and convertible, only from Chrysler. LeBarons are beauty with a passion for driving.
Something in the way she moves.
Eddie, understanding your passion for Miller High Life, I brought you something.
A six-pack. No, a bottle. A bona fide Frederick Miller original, circa 1880.
Note, it is just as clear as today's bottle. Proof positive. Miller has been proud to show their dark, rich beer for more than 100 years. Now, that's tradition, Eddie. That's the American way.
That's great, Jim, but I prefer this bottle.
Why is that, Eddie?
Because it's full.
Tim Ryan and Joe Theismann here in Philadelphia. Buddy Ryan applauding his troops, trying to pump them up here. They've just surrendered a field goal, 25 yards to Roger Ruzek, and we have a tie football game here in Philadelphia.
Well, his defense has done the job. They've caused turnovers. They've gotten good field position for the offense, but the offense has not managed to take advantage of them. That's something he's got to be a little bit concerned with.
Ruzek's kickoff comes down at the 5-yard line. Bobby Morse from Michigan State. Good piece of running, gets out to the 24-yard line. Stopped there by Ron Burton, reserve linebacker. And a reminder that next Saturday, 2:30 Eastern Time, number 9 ranked Syracuse. The Orangemen take on Pittsburgh, and the unbeaten Orangemen have been beating up on people. A big win over Penn State last week, and yesterday, look what they did to Colgate, 52-6. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, winning over Navy. Next Saturday, exciting college football action on CBS Sports. Eagles from their own 24. Byers. Good hold for Keith Byers and a first down to the 35. Joe, you mentioned how the Eagles defensively have been solid, at least preventing the Cowboys from big plays, big points. But the Cowboys have had the ball for 22 minutes and 7 seconds in this game to only 11:25, so that's part of the reason why the Eagles' offense has not been able to do a whole lot today so far either. They haven't really been out there very much.
Yeah, Tim, but the reason why they've only had the ball 11 minutes and 25 seconds is because they haven't been able to get first downs after one another. So they've hurt themselves in that regard.
Well, they have one here. Byers again. Oh, it's Randall Cunningham is sacked out the left side. Jeff Rohrer put a tremendous hit on him. The ball came loose, but it will be Eagles possession. Good fake out this side to Byers. But the Cowboys on the right side didn't buy it.
Well, you'll see Cunningham make a series of fakes. Now, the Cowboys, again, moving around their defensive line. They don't buy the fake. He gets around Jeffcoat. That's just great athletic ability. Now, he wants to throw, pulls the ball in, and just gets flat knocked down. Again, the ground cannot cause a fumble. That's the reason why the ball was not given to the Cowboys. But, boy, what a hit he took.
Outspoken Jeff Rohrer from Yale put that lick on him. Second and long, a flag on the play. Couple of flags. Keith Byers, the ball carrier, and he may have been moving a little early, but the Eagles say the penalty is going to be against Dallas. So
yeah, you always got to you got to go with the players because they're close to the referee.
That's right, yeah. And no prejudice at all. Now it's against Dallas. A little technical transmission problem there.
There it is right there. You know, that's part of the offense. So, you know, Dorsett and Walker, 21 rushes, 83 yards. The Eagles, 11 rushes, 55 yards. But you can't just break a 10-yarder and then go 2 or 3 series and break another 10-yarder. You have to gain some consistent yardage. That statistic is very misleading to the way the offenses in the rushing game has contributed to each team this afternoon.
It's 2nd and 12 now for the Eagles with the infraction against Dallas. Cunningham in trouble again. Look at him get out of it. Cunningham was like a magician on that play. Kept popping up like a rabbit out of a hat.
This is one coach's nightmare, another coach's dream. If you're Tom Landry and Ernie Staudter, it's a nightmare. If you're Ted Plum and Buddy Ryan, it's a dream. He starts to the right. He's in the grasp of Ed Jones. Comes around, spins around to the outside. Now he's still trying to throw the football. Keith Byers says, throw it to me. He says, no, I'm too busy ducking for my life. Now he turns it upfield and lunges for the first down. Down, Eagles. Keith Byers to the 38 of Dallas. Michael Downs on the tackle. 15-yard gain. Just a simple pitch out to the left. Byers feeling very healthy. You know, talking to him yesterday, he said he feels so much more confident, so much more comfortable with the offense. Last year was spent trying to learn how to be a professional number 1 and learn the system number 2. He came in with a lot of the Eagles early in February to get more comfortable with this offensive system. Spagnuolo in motion. Cunningham deep. Incomplete for Mike Quick. May have lost it in the sun. Coverage by Ron Francis, the rookie from Baylor. There are shadows across the entire field with the exception of one corner. Right here on this, you're going to see the shadows as the players move down the field. That ball is coming dead out of the sun. It's a little bit underthrown. The wind grabs it just a little bit, and it goes right through Mike's hands. Again, you see the shadows. He's looking dead into the sun. Just does sneak away from him. We talked about going, you know, into that end zone. Now, if you look at this particular picture, you see where the sun is, but also that wind just grabs that ball and does funny things with it when it comes down. Cunningham 6 and 14. Screen out to Quick. Slow to get up, but he was not slow to get downfield. Look at this one. This is a quick screen. You see, the safeties are blitzing for the Cowboys. The Eagles caught him in the perfect defense. Spagnuolo out front, making the block. There's Matt Darwin. Now look at that hurdling job by Quick. This is a track meet. It's not a football game. What a terrific piece of running we've seen on 2 out of the last 3 plays. Randall Cunningham, actually 3, and Keith Byers on his run, and Quick on that piece. Right here in this part of the ball game, Tim, conditioning is something we haven't talked about. But these guys have been off for 4 weeks. You've got a definite age factor for the Dallas Cowboys. Their defensive line averages 9 years of experience. There's linebackers 7. Their defensive backs 5. You've got a very young offense, a very young football team for the Eagles. If they can keep the pressure on, conditioning-wise, the advantage goes to the younger team. Defensive play by the Cowboys.
Bates was there. The linebacker, Steve DeCossi, was there. Number 55 batting the ball away.
Cunningham going in the middle. They've double covered both the outside receivers, so it's Spagnola working against Hegman and Diossi. He makes the move. Just great defensive play. Steve Diossi gets his hands in, knocks it away.
Lockhart was the injured Cowboy on the play in which Mike Quick hurdled his way down to the 10-yard line. So the middle linebacker, the regular, not on the field. Now he's back in on this play. To the 1-yard line. Keith Byers.
This is a play everybody has seen from the day you start playing football. It's a simple handoff dive play to the fullback. And look at the hole that they create. Schreiber, Darwin, Fury all opening up a big gap in that Cowboy defense.
Keith Byers having a fine afternoon. Up to 67 yards.
He's becoming the back that they'd hoped he was going to become when they drafted him out of Ohio State last year.
Imagine 2 foot surgeries, 1 to each foot. 3rd and goal. Tony, touchdown.
A little misdirection. You're going to see Cunningham fake to the right to Byers. Now coming around from the left is Tony, and Michael Downs reads this perfect. He's got a shot at Tony, but he can't hold on to him. Lockhart can't hold on to him. He gets in the end zone. That's about as fine a drive for a touchdown as I've seen in football.
Paul McFadden barefoots it over the goal post for a lead now for the Eagles of 20 to 13.
The pride's inside.
Plymouth Sundance, the pride's inside. Designed in and built in. Pride's in the performance, precision handling, front-wheel drive, fuel-injected turbo. Pride's in its quality, backed for 7 years or 70,000 miles. 47 quality standard features. Plymouth Sundance, the pride's inside before you're inside.
The pride's inside. Born in America.
All right, Betty, I'll make you a friendly wager. A round of beers, you won't get this.
Darker one's the Miller Highlight. Waitress, 2 Millers, please. He's buying.
That's pretty good. How did you know that?
Common knowledge.
Okay, double or nothing, you don't know why.
Dark roasted malt makes Miller darker. Anybody knows that.
You saw my commercials.
That was you? No, seriously, was that you? That was you? Woo!
Sir, would you prefer hamburger A Wendy's hamburger, which is always made fresh, or hamburger B, which is pre-made and sits around?
B! It's hard like my Deltoids.
Yes, but wouldn't you rather have the juicy taste of the Wendy's hamburger?
Hey, no pain, no gain. And that beef burger, that's pain, yeah, real pain, the kind I like. That burger put some serious hurt in me. I love it. Got any more?
Most people like the taste of fresh hamburgers, like Wendy's, the best burgers in the business.
Schrader and the Redskins, Kelly and the Bills, then Montana and the Niners, Everett and the Rams. A doubleheader quarterback attack. Next Sunday on CBS Sports.
We're back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, where we've had a very exciting football game, a 13-10 halftime lead by the Eagles. Now stands at 20-13. Their best drive of the day, 75 yards, 9 plays, 5:07 used up on the clock, and that young man, Anthony Tony, took it in from 1 yard out to open a 20-13 lead.
We had big plays in that drive. First one from Randall Cunningham, next one from Keith Byers, next one from Mike Quick, Tony capping it off. That's one of the finest drives I believe I've ever seen a football team put together with individual efforts.
Telchik with the kickoff, a bouncing ball fielded at the 25. Timmy Newsom gets out to the 38-yard line, so the Cowboys start with pretty good field position. Now we see the Redskins in a squeaker against the Jets lead by 1 in the 3rd period. And Washington coming into the game with a 4-1 mark thanks to the good work by their replacement team. Dallas at 3-2, trying to get to 4-2 here today, and the Eagles 1-4. Next week, the Eagles have another NFC East battle against St. Louis. Some of you will see that game, and others of you will be watching the Redskins at Buffalo. First down, Cowboys. Walker in motion. Play action, White, man open, and it's overthrown, intended for Dorsett. And you know, when you think back in the context of this game, Joe, that's really about the only bad ball Danny White has thrown in the entire game, and with the exception of one little short one very early that he threw into the ground.
Well, I think that short one has to do with the fact that he can't get his wrist loose. Other than that, Danny White has put on an exceptional show this afternoon in the face of a lot of pressure. He knew he was going to be the man on the bubble and on the hot seat, and he's really responded. Had Tony Dorsett open down the field and just let the ball get away. You know, as a quarterback, when you get the swirling winds like you do in Veterans Stadium, it makes it a little bit difficult to just hang the ball and put it where you want it. It floats a little on you. I think that's what happened on that one.
2nd and 10, the Eagles jump around in their defense to give Dallas a different look. Play action again, out to Walker. Here comes his blocker. And Walker gets about 7, and he's stacked up by 3 Eagles. Clyde Simmons, the defensive end. Dwayne Giles, number 53, the linebacker. Terry Hogue, the safety, gets in on it as well.
That was a very similar play to what we saw the Eagles run in hitting Mike Quick earlier in this quarter. That time he fakes to Dorsett in the backfield. Herschel Walker split out, gets a few linemen out in front of him, pick and run your way. The Eagles did a good job reacting.
3 wide receivers in for the Cowboys on 3rd and 3. Now White directing traffic from the shotgun. That's for Edwards. Can't hold on. Kelvin Edwards off the tip of his fingers.
Danny White under pressure again. Clyde Simmons and Jerome Brown put a lot of pressure on him. He makes a great throw. Kelvin Edwards just gets it on his fingertips and can't hold on to it.
So the Cowboys will have to punt. John Saxon, first of the day for Saxon. Deep man is Greg Garrity for the Eagles. Mike Saxon make it. Recovered by the Eagles. A close call there. William Frizzell saved the bacon for Greg Garrity. 4:06 to go.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
The Great American Face. Strong, sensitive. The Great American Razor. Atra Plus. Solid. With the Lubra-Smooth strip for extra protection. The Great American Face deserves the Great American shave. Atra Plus. Only from Gillette.
Each year, 9 out of 10 Americans who have their cars insured with Liberty Mutual stay insured with Liberty Mutual.
America, believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Eddie, understanding your passion for Miller High Life, I brought you something.
A 6-pack.
No, a bottle. A bona fide Frederick Miller original, circa 1880. Note, it is just as clear as today's bottle. Proof positive, Miller has been proud to show their dark, rich beer for more than 100 years. Now, that's tradition, Eddie. That's the American way.
That's great, Jim, but I prefer this bottle.
Why is that, Eddie?
Because it's full.
Wednesday.
This young man's father may have been captured by the KGB. We have to get him out.
You've involved yourself with a very dangerous man. You're dead. Robert Mitchum guests on The Equalizer.
Tim Bryan and Joe Theismann here at Veterans Stadium. You old enough to remember John Saxon?
No.
Well, I don't think too many people do anyway, but he's not the punter. Punter's Mike Saxon. What a big play by Frizzell to come up with that loop
Absolutely.
ball.
Garrity lets it go right through his hand. Bang, the ball's bouncing for the Eagles this afternoon.
From their 18-yard line, Philadelphia has the ball and the lead. 20 to 13, 4:06 to go, third quarter. Anthony Toney, maybe 2 on the play. Eugene Lockhart, the middle linebacker for the Cowboys, makes the stop.
I talked to Ted Plum, who's the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, earlier in the day, and he said that Randall Cunningham is maturing almost on a weekly basis. They give him a few more audibles each week. He said he's never seen him more prepared for a game plan in a football game than he is for this game today.
2nd and 8, the pitch to Toney again. Good defensive play, stripping through the blockers. The Cowboys were waiting for him behind the line. Mike Hegman, the veteran, number 58, making the play. Maybe a half yard at most. 3rd down. 4 new defenders come on for the Cowboys, and their defense starting to look more and more like the Buddy Ryan defense of the Bears days, and now with the Eagles.
Well, what they decided to do today is they've only gone with 3 defensive linemen: Jeff Coat, Jones, and Randy White. They bring in all their defensive backs on the roster and let them play up front.
And it pays off here. Byers nowhere to go, and it was a defensive back, Victor Scott, number 22, coming up to make the play Joe was just describing. And the Eagles will have to punt. The best defensive series yet for the Cowboys. They stopped the Eagles cold.
You know, when they put in all those defensive backs, it places a premium on speed. The right thing to do is run, but when you've got 3rd down and 9, that's a lot to ask a back to pick up against those quick little defensive backs.
John Telchik will punt. Standing at his 6. Kelvin Edwards, the deep man. Bad punt again by Telchik. Takes an Eagle bounce. Rolls down to the 43-yard line of Dallas, where it's down there. So Telchik got a little bit of help from the bounce. Otherwise, not a good kick.
Something in the way she moves attracts me like no other lover. Something in the way she moves me, I don't want to leave her now.
Its power will move you. Its beauty will stop you. The LeBarons, coupe and convertible, only from Chrysler. LeBarons are beauty with a passion for driving.
In the way she moves.
You're out of here. Things for sure at Meineke.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler, and it better be quality.
Bud says we're not gonna pay a lot, and we appreciate your love.
I refuse to pay a lot for this muffler. So don't worry. We install quality Everlast mufflers from just $18.93 installed.
I'm not gonna pay a lot for this muffler and still get quality.
You're not going to pay a lot for quality at Meineke.
Lie down. Bend over backwards. Stand up. Now, disappear. The new Duracell Flip Pocket Light.
Batteries can lose some life waiting to be bought. But only new Duracell packs have a freshness date that guarantees they'll live a long life, not a short one. Freshness dating from Duracell.
A beautiful day for NFL football, and 61,630 are out here compared to last week, the final 3 weeks ago, their last home game, the Ersatz Eagles, and they are enjoying this one here today, especially because their team is in front, but there is a long way to go, and Dallas has the football with 2:06 to go, 3rd period, and excellent field position at their own 44. Set. Not much. Clyde Simmons and Dwayne Giles cut him off. Tampa Bay threatened a little bit by the Bears, is open to 26-14, and recent word that Jim McMahon has entered the game at quarterback for the Bears.
There's also a game where I think the conditioning is going to be a factor. Chicago's big guys up front, a lot of mobility, a lot of speed, a lot of enthusiasm, can drain you easily. Gets real hot in Tampa.
Second down and 9. Dallas. Play action. White intended for Cosby, incomplete. Streaking down the sideline, wide open, was Herschel Walker.
Again, they try and move Herschel Walker into positions so that it creates a problem for the Philadelphia defense. That time they couldn't find him. He was split out, but neither could Danny White. He's supposed to clear out on a clearing pattern, and Cosby is supposed to cut in behind him to make a reception. That didn't work.
Well, you can see the crowd here among the 61,000, those who feel that maybe the real Eagles are going to be winners under Buddy Ryan. They're 1-4, trying to climb back into the race. White is sacked. Loose ball again. Dallas recovers. Cowboy ball, but back inside their own 30. Third sack by the Eagles. Reggie White whipping up the crowd. Tremendous enthusiasm that young man has. The third-year man from Tennessee. Waters hurt on the play.
Well, he went out earlier with a calf problem. From the right of your screen, or left of your screen, you're going to see Reggie White. There's Ken Clark. Now coming around from the left of your screen, there's Reggie White working on Mark Tuinei. He just makes the turn, gets a hand on Danny, and Clyde Simmons knocks the ball away. Ken Clark tries to jump on it. Tuinei with the recovery.
Clyde Simmons and Reggie White, two huge defensive ends with good speed. Simmons at 260, 6'6" tall, and White 6'5", 285. Buddy Ryan calls him the best defensive lineman he's ever been around.
And he also said Jerome Brown, another one of the force up front, was the best football player in his opinion last year in the draft. Of course, that's a defensive coach's opinion.
Yes.
But, you know, you have to take that in consideration.
Waters being attended to on the field, and this opportunity to remind you about next week's action, because the Eagles will be at St. Louis, another key NFC East battle. It's a doubleheader week on CBS. Some of you will see this game, the Redskins at Buffalo.
Redskins having their problems a little bit today with the Jets, 7-6 last time we checked.
New Orleans trailing San Francisco today, will be at Atlanta, but the Saints a much improved team since Jim Mora arrived. And in the doubleheader game, that rivalry in California, the 49ers will be down at Anaheim against the Rams. Waters coming off the field, and may have been a recurrence of the same injury, perhaps a cramp. We're trying to get a report. Russell Gary has come in to replace him. Cowboys have to punt. Greg Garrity at his 20. Dropped on a good open field tackle. Linebacker number 59, Jesse Penn. 51-yard punt for Saxon.
I can like it. This is what the punter and punt returners have to deal with. Now, you see him kick the ball. Garrity is, first of all, he's got to check and find out the flight of the ball. Now, when it's moving and swirling, he makes the catch. Now he's faced, where do I go with the football? Well, let's go this way. No, I don't want to go that way. Let me go this way. No, party's over.
Garrity probably happy to hold on to that one. Tony, maybe a yard. Again, good pursuit by the Cowboys. Lockhart. They have made running tough on the Eagles. In the last series, they shut them down in 3 consecutive downs. 2nd and 9.
Well, the Eagles can stay in the huddle and let the quarter run out, and they're going to wind up with the wind at their back, which will be a real pleasant experience for Telchik, as well as their offense.
Time winding down in this quarter, and the word on Waters, yes, a cramp in his calf. We expect to see him back. And that's the end of the third quarter. With the score, the Philadelphia Eagles 20, the Dallas Cowboys 13. We now pause for a word word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Life is very unique for me. I got a wife in college. I've got a daughter who's 5 years old. And I work nights. Golf. The only thing I ever said about golf is so true. It's not a matter of life and death. It's more important than that. My daughter and I watch Sesame Street together. I love Sesame Street. Yeah, I love to watch ball games. Whether I was a dentist or a sports announcer had nothing to do with it. I'd still be a fan.
Some days it is just not convenient to get to the bank. Fortunately, I've got a phone. And the George Money Management System from First Jersey National Bank. I can check my balance, cover a check, even pay the pool man. All from an ordinary touch-tone phone. When you are as busy as I am, you need the George Money Management System from First Jersey National Bank. If you can get to a phone, you can get to the bank.
General Motors and GMAC announce a special new factory lease program that's too good to pass up. It's only on Oldsmobiles, no other car. So act now and get incredibly low GMAC monthly payments. But the best news is that you can lease a well-equipped Cutlass Sierra for only $239 a month. That's a savings of almost $1,300. This is the GM program you've been waiting for, and it's only on Oldsmobile. But hurry, this special factory offer ends December 31st, and it's exclusively at your Olds Connection dealer.
A burst of data, and then a pause. Another burst, another pause. That's the accepted, inefficient nature of data transmission. But at Bell Atlantic, we found a way to fill those wasteful pauses. Now, many companies can share the use and the cost of expensive data lines. Managing communications technologies to meet your needs, that's what sets us apart. The companies of Bell Atlantic. We make technology work for you.
Today's game, locally sponsored by Bell of Pennsylvania, a Bell Atlantic company.
Bringing up 3rd down and 8. It'll be 3rd and 8 for Randall Cunningham, as we are just underway in the 4th quarter here at Veterans Stadium.
That time Cunningham tried to take a short set, hit Jackson on a quick post pattern. Actually hit Lockhart in the back.
7 of 17 for Cunningham, not anywhere near White's numbers, but his team is in front, 20 to 13. Cunningham under pressure and again eludes the tackler Bates and gets the ball away, but incomplete. Intended for Quick, a flag is down. And there may be an interference penalty against the Cowboys. Manny Hendricks.
That play was made by Randall Cunningham's ability to escape defenders.
Defense, number 45 defense, first down.
That's just great offensive play. You'll see now Cunningham has the presence to throw the ball. Quick trying to come back and make the play. Hendricks just lost sight of where the ball was and what was going on with Cunningham.
Randall Cunningham got away from Bill Bates. He's been dropped 4 times and hurried a couple of times, but he is...
Yeah, we also ought to put up there escapes, because he's made some big ones.
He has certainly made some escapes. Hangs out up for Quick, and he's got it, but out of bounds. Out of bounds. Well, they talk about the gun this young man has. There's a sample right there.
And the one thing I asked him about, what's the one thing you worked on in training camp in the offseason? He said throwing the streak patterns, which this is. He's trying to get his receivers to stay further in from the sidelines. You see what happens? He throws the ball over the outside shoulder of the wide receiver, perfectly away from the defensive back. But that time, Mike Quick was too close to the sidelines. So how do you interpret that? Mike Quick should have been further in on the field, so Cunningham has a place to drop the ball. I guess they have to go back and work on it a little more.
Francis and Downs helped to keep him as wide as he was, however. They had the coverage. 2nd and 10. Out of bounds, overthrown, intended for Garrity. Number 86. Garrity in to give Quick a rest after Quick had just made the long run on the preceding play. 3rd and 10, and Quick returns to the lineup.
Ron Francis was the defender on that one. He's a rookie out of Baylor, and it looks like they want to work on the left side.
There you see Andre Waters
getting his tires changed.
That's right.
In the pits, getting some new rubber put on.
Working on that cramped calf muscle. 3rd and 10, Cunningham gets some time. Sideliner too high for Kenny Jackson. Sail that one.
Put that one on a rope. I'd really be curious to see how far he can actually throw that thing. I mean,
what's your guess?
I'd say 75, 80 yards.
Really?
I think.
How far could you throw it in your prime?
Not 80 yards. My prime, I threw it once, 73 yards.
Really?
Yeah. I was way back in my prime then. Just starting to get primed.
Telchik to punt. He gets this one. Edwards from the 22. Flag down on a loose ball, but whistle dead.
We're gonna have a little controversy here.
Russell Gary came up with the ball and took it down to the Dallas 12. Now there was a flag first, then there was a fumble. What I thought I heard was a very fast whistle. I didn't see the ball hit the ground.
No, it did not. The ball did not hit the ground. It popped up. The question is going to be, and you see the referees conferring now, they've got a difficult decision to make. Did the whistle actually stop play, or was play continued even though there was a slight whistle, which we heard?
Gene Barth is the referee.
Illegal use of the hands against Dallas. Penalty refused. First down.
They didn't hear any whistle.
It is Eagles ball. And again, I said I thought I heard a whistle. May not have been a whistle. I don't want to say that there was. But it sounded to me like there might have been. But play carried on. It is Eagles ball. Russell Gary.
You'll see the lower part of your screen, the official coming from the left now. Kelvin Edwards starts up inside. There's number 76 waving his hands, you see? He waves his hands. He started to blow the whistle a little bit, turns around, and they go in the other direction.
It was Terry Hogue who pried it loose from Kelvin Edwards. 34, Hogue.
He's never down. That ball's popped up in the air.
And here comes Gary on the fly.
Catches it on the run.
Eagles ball at the 12-yard line. They block a field goal try to set up the score. Dallas has fumbled to them twice, and now a third time. Fires hit at the 10-yard line. Got maybe 3 on the play. So turnovers continue to plague the Cowboys this afternoon. 4 fumbles. They've lost 3 of them, and they've had a field goal block to boot.
Kelvin Edwards, one of the replacement players that has made the Dallas Cowboy football team. Young man with a lot of talent, just going to have to learn to hang on to the piece.
Second down, inside the 10. Fires. Inside the 5. Rohr and Lockhart made the tackle. Byers did not have a real good grip on that, nearly lost it.
Well, you know, it's a little chilly. It's just a little cool outside. Here comes Spagnola in motion. He's going to turn up, put a block. You see him hit Rohr on the outside. Now Byers leading up. He's got the ball in his left hand. Now it almost comes out. Actually, it does get away from his body. As the evening comes on in Philadelphia, it's getting a little bit chilly, and you've got that swirling wind on the field. It makes it a little harder to hold the pigskin.
3rd and 2. Inside the 5. Byers hit right at the line by Hegman. Eagles missed a block on Hegman. He had a free shot and did the job. 4th down. Cunningham signaling that it's just about a yard for a first down, but the field goal unit is on.
And without hesitation, Buddy Ryan sends his field goal unit out.
12:34 and counting down in the 4th period.
I'd agree with this one, see?
Well, I think you should have agreed with the one by Landry as well.
Well, looking back, I think so. But, you know, really, in that situation, you've got them backed up. You've got their offensive stop. You might have well tried it, but here you got a chance to go 10 points up.
McFadden from 21 yards out. And the Eagles widen their lead. 12:10 to play. It's 23-13.
About the Honda Accord, the experts at Car and Driver have said, quote, "The engine hums sweetly. The steering is deliciously accurate. Cruising is hushed. The Accord is world-class comfortable. It's enough to make us blush."
No, fellas. Look here, fellas. Let's do one for Mr. Seagram. Now, look here, Mr. Seagram. You sound like my kind of guy, yay. You make that? Seagram's golden wine cooler. And you make it wet and dry. Oh, now, Mr. Seagram. You're my kind of guy. My kind of guy.
This NFL game summary is sponsored by Seagram's Coolers. This is where the fun starts.
Well, there's a look at what has happened here in Philadelphia today. Turnovers have plagued the Dallas Cowboys, and they have led to 13 Eagle points. And you can see that Dallas has a considerable edge in total yardage, but the scoreboard is all it counts, despite the fine day by Danny White thus far, 23-13. The third field goal by McFadden, opening the lead to 23-13, Joe. But the big play so far, well, one of many, but certainly the most fun play, the blocked field goal by Clyde Simmons.
Well, you see, Reggie White gets credit officially, but Clyde Simmons gets his hands on it. Terry Hogue picks it up and starts down the field. And, you know, you look at the speed of the defensive back. That's Rohr trying to make a tackle. Now, Hogue's going to get tackled. He goes to the ground. He says, "No, here you go." William Frizzell takes it, and he says, "I'll take it down a little bit." Then he looks for Gary. Now, Gary makes the move, but that was illegal. That was a forward lateral. You saw the flag come in, but it certainly was exciting.
Well, it led to the first field goal, the first touchdown, of the day by the Philadelphia Eagles. Cunningham to Spagnuolo. Now, here's a good return for the Cowboys out to the 35-yard line by Darrell Clack. So the Cowboys in good field position again from their 35-yard line, a 33-yard return by Clack. Now, don't forget, next Saturday, college football on CBS Sports. Number 9 ranked and unbeaten Syracuse against arch rival Pittsburgh. Live at 2:30 Eastern.
And Pittsburgh, of course, being the only defeat to the University of Notre Dame, the ranked University of Notre Dame Fighting Irish. There comes a time in a football game when there are certain key situations. This is a key situation for the Dallas Cowboys. They have to mount some type of a drive to take the momentum and the steam out of the Philadelphia Eagles machine. They've been stopped. They've made mistakes. They've made all kinds of turnovers. Now they get a chance to gain momentum back, and this is where I believe that having the veterans that they do and having been in tough ball games like this, it'll be an advantage for them.
Dorsett just picked up 2 yards, but Joey has not been a factor today. 32 yards rushing on 11 carries.
Well, the running game as a whole hasn't been a factor for the Cowboys.
Play action. Sack. Fourth of the day by the Eagles. Simmons and Clark combined to haul down Danny White at the 26.
Well, this is a quick screen. There's Rafferty in the middle, Zimmerman on his left, Crawford Kerr on his right. Now, Danny has to get rid of the ball, but Andre Waters has floated out. Now, it's not the offensive line's fault. Danny's got to unload it. When you've got a quick screen set up, you can't pull it back down. You've got to throw it out into row 16 or throw it somewhere where the defense is not going to get it, but because there's no blocking for you.
It brings up third down and about 18 for Danny White. Pressure again. He just unloaded that ball. A flag comes down as he was dropped by Clyde Simmons. Now, they may be
intentional grounding.
It is intentional grounding. Cowboys plead their cause. Newsom saying, "Hey, I was in the area."
Now you see Danny White's just going to do anything he can to get rid of the ball. Clyde Simmons is closing fast. He actually hits Reggie White in the head. Timmy Newsom said, "I was in the area. I was in the area." The official says, "No." Gene Barth says, "That's not the case."
Well, a real hurry-up on this punt situation. Had players running all over the field. Saxon at the goal line. signals Garrity at the 45 of the Eagles. So they've got a good spot to start from. They lead by 10 points with 10:37 remaining regulation time.
Sehen Sie sich bloß einmal diese rohe Kraft an. Der Mann ist wie eine menschliche Kanone. Er explodiert.
Every major government is spending millions getting ready for next year's Olympics. Except one. In America, Olympians can't depend on government funding. That's why the Miller Brewing Company is proud to be the sole sponsor of the U.S. Olympic Training Centers. With these centers and a lot of hard work, our team can take on anybody, no matter what they spend.
Buy 10 rolls or more of Owens Corning Pink Insulation now and get your favorite NFL team jacket free.
I like Wheaties because they're just like running backs, crispy when you crunch them.
I like Wheaties because they're just like linemen. They got no sweetness packed in.
Now go tell your mama what the big boys eat.
Faithfully, Honda has been #1 in customer satisfaction, #1 in import owner loyalty, #1 for the money. Introducing new Faithful, the new Honda Civic hatchback, one of the lowest priced wonders in America. You can count on it.
They crushed Penn State and charged into the top 10. They are the season's dream team, Syracuse. But can they topple Pittsburgh? Next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Well, at the end of our football activity today, you've had enough sports for the Sunday. It's time to get in on our outstanding lineup of programming on CBS. 60 minutes. If you don't know what Polo Payola means, and I don't, ask the manager of your supermarket. If he won't tell you, 60 minutes will. That'll be followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the Sunday movie Family Sins tonight. James Tarantino and Jill Eikenberry. Play action. Complete to Tony. Tony stepped out, but not before he got to the 24-yard line of Dallas.
That time it's Randall Cunningham who put so much pressure on the Dallas defense. Here you'll see him make the fake to Keith Byers, holds the defense. Look at Jeffcoat get pulled inside. Now he just makes a little dink throw to Tony, and he turns upfield, gets an escort. Spagnola leading the way. Mike Quick down there trying to block.
Well executed 30-yard gain.
But he got so excited he took his headset off.
Eagles inside the Cowboy 25. Play action again. Same play the other way to Tony. To the 15-yard line. You know, that big, tall, lanky quarterback at 6'4" is a very good ball handler.
Oh, he's a good ball handler. Does a nice job. And what's really impressed me is his composure and his ability to just put a great touch on the ball. Having watched him last year, he had a tendency to throw the ball too hard to the shorter receivers. Now he's developing a touch where he just lays the ball out, makes it really easy for the guys to catch and get turned upfield. Randall Cunningham, you can almost watch him grow on a week-to-week basis.
Well, it's interesting, too, that he's got to be real busy with his mouthpiece. Takes it out when he calls each play.
I don't know how he can get the communication through.
Second half, about a yard. Well, he takes it out. Fires. Has it first down. Philadelphia knocking on the door again. Randy White and Jeff Rohrer stopped him. But the ball is now at the 11-yard line.
That's going to tighten up the division. The Jets are leading the Redskins 16-7. That makes this game so important. There's Jeff Rohrer. Now, on that last play, Jeff Rohrer is forced outside because Cunningham has rolled out once to the left, once to the right. He came outside to make sure he had contained on Cunningham and wound up allowing Byers to pick up that additional yardage inside. A mobile quarterback puts so much pressure on a defense.
First down. They need to get to the one for another first down. Cook dropped and the pass behind Kenny Jackson.
Now that time, Sling, that's what I'm going to call him. Sling, Cunningham.
Well, he slung it out there.
He slung it out there too quick. I mean, he really that time he didn't set his feet. He was in a hurry. His mind knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but he didn't have time for his body to catch up with it.
Matt Cavanaugh, you see, number 6, the backup quarterback, signaling in this play.
He's a good guy to have on the sidelines for Randall because he has somebody to talk to and communicate with.
2nd and 10. Piece of running close to the 5-yard line. Michael Downs made the stop. 3rd down, about 4 for the first.
Here's Cunningham. Now you see Spagnuolo go in motion, and Byers just turns it upfield. Lockhart gets caught out of position. Byers comes up and hurdles going in. Now I was watching the field. You can't see it on the television set, but Randall Cunningham was signaling over to the sidelines. Oh, well, he wanted to play. He was signaling over the sidelines. I want to run something. I want to run something. But Byers went out with a little bit of an injury. Tuttalatasi came in with a little bit of a late substitution and ran out of time on the 30-second clock. So good decision. You're down in scoring range. You don't want to give up that opportunity. Call the timeout. That's a well-used timeout.
Discussion there with Ted Plum and Buddy Ryan, and here's how we stand, 23-13 with 6:13 to play. And meanwhile, the Redskins atop the division at 4-1 are trailing the Jets.
And they're playing at home also, yeah.
And Dallas, of course, they would like to win here today to make it a 4-2 mark for them. Their replacement team, like the Redskins, did well. They were 2-1. Redskins were 3-0. The Eagles at 1-4, a victory today and a Washington loss. Suddenly, lots of excitement again in the NFC East. And next week, they have their second of 5 consecutive matchups against NFC East Division rivals. They'll be at St. Louis. Many of you will see that game here on CBS. Washington will be at Buffalo. Jim Kelly and company against the Redskins. And some of you will see that game.
There goes Sling back into the huddle. I like that. I mean, he throws the ball like a slingshot. I mean, he's got such great whip in his arm. When he really sets his feet and fires it, I don't know if anybody throws the ball any harder.
San Francisco and New Orleans, they're in a struggle of 24-19. Saints still in that one late. 6:13 to go here in Philadelphia. Double motion move by Jackson. Cunningham wide open. It's Spagnuolo. Touchdown. Spagnuolo's second touchdown of the afternoon. Wide open in the end zone. A happy Randall Cunningham says, this is fun.
That's right. You know, the one thing, too, is Spagnuolo takes the signals from the coach and relays them to Cunningham. He must have had a big smile on his face when he took that one from the sidelines and said, look, I'll be open. Throw me the ball.
McFadden with a point after. Eagles leading 30-13. The Cowboys have a big uphill struggle. 6:07 remaining in the fourth quarter. Well, there's the man who was the Union player rep for the Eagles.
There's Kenny Jackson doing a little dance. Now, he fakes it to Kenny Jackson. Spagnuolo just slides into the middle. Absolutely no Cowboy near him. They're taking advantage. The Eagles took advantage of the great pursuit by the Dallas defense. You see Rohr start across, Jeffcoat start across, Cunningham pumps outside, makes the throw. Nobody near Spagnuolo. Absolutely no one near him.
Joe, let me correct the time remaining. Again, there are a couple of lights out on the clock that I've been reading. It looks like a 6, but it is an 8. 8 minutes and 7 seconds left. So there is time for the Cowboys to get back into this, but they're going to have to make something happen on this next offensive series.
And the one way they've been able to move the football today has been through the air. So if they're going to be able to do it, they have been, and they should be able to get down the field, but they're going to have to get it in this series and get some points on the board. They've got to cut into this lead right now to position themselves to be able to make a run at it later on in the quarter.
Randall Cunningham's second touchdown pass, both to John Spagnuolo. Darryl Clack, he's got some running room. return by Clack. Good blocking by the Cowboys. And he has it out near the 40-yard line of Dallas. Russell Gary stopped him there. Now, following the end of our contest today, we'll be bringing you the NFL Today at our post-game show. Scores and highlights from around the rest of this return to real NFL football this afternoon. And God bless all those replacements who tried their little hearts out, but the difference in quality is quite considerable.
You can see the difference in it. You know, the guys gave it all they had. Now I bet you they're enjoying watching the big boys play.
White in trouble again. Just gets it away over the head of Cosby. Eagles defense just keeps coming and coming.
Danny White just doing a terrific job to stay alive in that pocket. Clyde Simmons up against Mark Tuinei. Jerome Brown up against Jeff Zimmerman. Crawford Kerr having to take on Kent Clark. And, of course, Kevin Cogan having to go head-to-head with Reggie White. How'd you like to have that? 3 days worth of practice, and you got to go up against Reggie White.
Well, even Tom Landry said these guys were going to get a wealth of experience in their very first game.
He said his two rookies were rookies. He figured by the second half they'd be veterans.
That's right. Second and 10. White hit it out of the hands of Herschel Walker. And Walker had a great chance there to blow by Seth Joyner had he caught the ball. A lot of running room.
Well, they're trying to isolate, which is actually that's a great call. They're trying to isolate Herschel Walker one-on-one on a linebacker. Of course, one-on-one on anybody, and I think Herschel has the advantage. But you get him matched up against a linebacker going full speed across the field, and he makes the catch. There's a lot of green in front of him, even some on his helmet.
3rd and 10, and this is the biggest play of the game for the Cowboys. They're down 30-13. They simply have to get a first down here. Sideliner almost intercepted. Intended for Banks. William Frizzell, the former Detroit Lion, knocked the ball loose and nearly picked it off. Make it Cedric Brown, number 23, not Frizzell. Credit where it's due. The first-year man out of Washington State. Free agent signed a year ago.
He ran the route for Gordon Banks that time.
4th down. Cowboys in some severe difficulty. Saxon. Short punt. Caught at the 30-yard line by Garrity. Now here's a punch up out at midfield. They didn't get any punches thrown, but they were testing their arm muscles there. William Frizzell.
He heard you talk about him.
I guess so, and he wanted to make sure he got on camera.
Right.
And I think it was Michael Downs. We'll come back and have a look at that. Albritton it was. We'll be right back. 30-13.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. Be all you can be. Sponsored by the U.S. Army. All rookies must prove themselves, but it may have been even harder for the New Orleans Saints' Reuben Mays. A Canadian by birth and a running back by profession, Mays came to New Orleans as the 57th player selected in the 1986 NFL Draft. By season's end, he was the top rookie in the league. Coupling enormous talent with an equally enormous desire to succeed, Reuben Mays has become the best he can be.
Hey, could I tap some of your computer expertise, son?
So you finally gave in?
Yeah, for starters, how does the disk fit into the disk drive?
Okay,
The Army can train you to program, operate, or fix computers.
What does the printer interface do?
It lets the computer talk to the printer.
They talk to each other. What do they say?
Then there's a telephone modem hookup.
And the computer training you get is yours forever.
Like you're not going to be the only computer expert in the valley.
Well, next Saturday on CBS, it's Syracuse and Pitt at 2:30 Eastern Time. The last time this matchup meant as much to both teams was back in 1963. Paul Martha led Pitt to a 35-27 victory en route to a 9-1 season and a number 4 national ranking. This year, the Panthers made their mark by upsetting Notre Dame 2 weeks ago. Only loss suffered by the Fighting Irish this year. Meanwhile, in upstate New York, Syracuse has emerged as the new beast of these. This was one of 4 Don McPherson touchdown strikes to wide receiver Tommy Kane in yesterday's rout of Colgate. The Orangemen crushed Penn State earlier, so Saturday afternoon, 2:30 Eastern Time, it'll be Pitt and Syracuse here on CBS.
Tim Ryan with Joe Theismann here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. 7:34 remains in the fourth quarter, and the Eagles have the ball at their own 30-yard line. Tom Landry will have to come up with some big stuff here.
He's got to be looking for some help from upstairs.
Keith Myers pounds for about 3 yards, and again some more pushing and shoving there. Bill Bates of the Cowboys and number 76 Adam Schreiber, the left guard for the Eagles.
See where the circle is, the lower left of your screen, Albritton. As the ball comes down, Garrity's going to fair catch it. Now they just get that's what happens, you know. You don't want to cover guy downfield. Everybody just start throwing punches and mixing it up. Frizzell, that's Victor Scott. Get 2 Eagles down on the right, and there they are. Best way to stop a bout is to grab a guy's face mask. Of course, I never got involved in anything like that. I read about that.
It's kind of an arm wrestling contest. Cunningham on 2nd and 8. Slides in. They might be short of the first down. He had room to get there, but I think he thought he was going to make the line. Now, they don't give him where his feet go.
He didn't think he was going to make the line. He thought he was going to hit a whole bunch of Cowboys. And he decided that he didn't want to go any further. That's a very good decision. You're up 30-13. You want to keep the ball in play. You want to keep the clock. But more importantly, you want to keep yourself in the game. Nothing's gained by trying to dive if you're the quarterback for 1 or 2 yards.
Steve Pelura warming up on the sidelines. White's had an outstanding day for Dallas, but 3 for 10 in the second half. And he's been sacked twice. He'll get it this time, and he slides in to the 41-yard line.
That time he could have ran out of bounds. The slides are all right. I think he's a little embarrassed. Look at the smile on his face. I think he's just a little embarrassed. He knows he could have ran out of bounds. It doesn't, you know, quarterbacks, we get a bad enough rap anyway, but you can't slide all the time.
Well, you get all the glory and the money, too. I mean, okay to get a rap every now and then.
Yeah, Keith Bryer's bringing in play. Sure, I know, but you just don't like to get that reputation.
Speaking of quarterbacks, they just handed me this. Jim McMahon has just scored on a 1-yard run. 5:31 still to play in the fourth period. And now Tampa Bay leads 26-20. Loose ball. Tony fumbled it. Looks like the Cowboys have it. Dallas has recovered at the 49-yard line of the Cowboys. Ed Jones. Kutall came up with a loose ball.
Well, that could be the break the Cowboys are looking for. It's just a simple pitch. Cunningham turns around, flips it out to Tony. He makes the turn upfield. Jeffcoat gets caught inside. Down gets caught. Lockhart, Smerrick's in the game. Ball just pops loose. Michael Downs knocking the ball loose. Steve Pelura coming in the ball game for the Cowboys. Tony makes the turn. He's got the ball tucked away in fine position. Downs just comes in and strips it away from him. I mentioned it gets a little chilly in Philadelphia, and the ball becomes a little more difficult, a little slicker to hold on to.
Steve Pelura is the quarterback. Pelura escapes the sack and is hit hard at midfield. Might be a one-play game for Pelura. Seth Joyner nearly broken in half. Pelura done a great job to elude the charge by Jerome Brown, only to be met with a crushing tackle by Joyner.
Well, you'll see what happens is he's got the ball. Now he starts to go down, and that left forearm, gosh, just a whack on the side of the head. He's down for the count. Hopefully he'll be all right, just a little bit dazed.
Well, while they attend to Steve Pelura, let's go to Brent Musburger for an NFL update.
All right, Tim. Jim McMahon, playing for the first time this year, dives into the end zone for the touchdown. The Bears blow the extra point. Tampa continues to lead by 6 now, 26-20. Let's go back to Tim.
Okay, Brent, they're still working on Steve Pelura down there. Danny White is back out on the field. Now, you know, this is an unfortunate thing for anybody to get hurt here, Joe, but I just want to get your analysis here of what you think Tom Landry was thinking sending in Pelura. I mean, was he saying, well, 30-13, we better get a fresh horse in there? On the other hand, White, despite the fact he's 3 for 10 in the second half, over the game has been a dangerous guy for them.
Well, he has, but you see, they've started to get a lot of pressure. And as you mentioned, he's 3 for 10 in the second half. They put just a ton of pressure on him. I think Tom's also seen the fact that Randall Cunningham has escaped a lot because of his mobility. Pallure is able to run, as we see here on this particular scramble. Pallure has the ability to scramble and make things happen. He can make something out of nothing. Danny White is basically a pocket passer. Right there, he just gets his head crunched by the forearm of Joyner. But that's why I think Coach Landry put him in, because Pallure can move around, and the fact that you're 17 points down with 5 minutes to go in the game. It's a good opportunity to get Pallure a chance to play a little bit. But I think more importantly, it's his mobility, and that's the reason why he put him in the ballgame.
Well, it's 2nd and 9 as Pallure, with his good effort, escaping from Brown, taking the hit from Joyner, got a yard. And Danny White takes over at the 50-yard line. Cosby hit by Joyner. A gain of maybe 2.
Yeah, Danny does a smart thing. He takes a short set, fires the ball out to Cosby. Cosby gets out of bounds, saving a little bit of, actually, what's a really valuable time right now for the Cowboys. They need every second they can hang on to in this ballgame.
4:40 left to play. 3rd down and 6. The word is that Steve Pallure will not return.
You were right, one play.
Down. Holding Dallas. Buffalo and Miami. Look at that.
68 offense. 10-yard penalty. We'll replay a 3rd down.
Crawford Kerr charged with the hold, and we see Steve Pallure being attended to on the Dallas bench.
Buddy Ryan with Cooper and Brown, 2 of his defensive backs, going to send them in. 3rd down in a bunch. Now he makes his substitutions. I do remember when you actually played with 11 men just on defense in football. You know that.
Yes.
I've played that long ago. I do remember when just 11 guys started the game and finished the game.
Every play looks like a fire drill out there these days. The substitutions. 3rd down, 17. White. The ball was tipped. It's caught by Edwards. Short of the 1st down, but a good effort, alert concentration by Kelvin Edwards, because the ball was tipped en route to him. 4th down, obviously Dallas will have to go.
Andre Waters on that play made the #1 mistake, or the one thing they teach a defensive back: attack the ball at its highest point when it's in the air. That time, as the ball was tipped at the line, he waited for it to come to him. Kelvin Edwards did the right thing by coming back and taking it out of Waters' hands.
Tremendous comeback on the screen there by Detroit against Green Bay. For Edwards, flag down, play broken up by Albert Fowles, number 29. Flag was closer to the line of scrimmage. Offside, Eagles. That'll get Dallas a 1st down. And they are in Eagles territory at the 40.
Lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. That gives them a 1st down.
Jerome Brown, the Miami rookie, trying to get a little extra edge.
Yeah, he's just in a hurry to get into Zoom's face. You know, Jeff Zimmerman's nickname is Zoom.
Well, I asked Brown, I said, how'd you do against Zimmerman? You played at Miami, he played at Florida. He said, yeah, we met 4 times. And he agreed that if somebody asked him the scoreboard, it would be for him 4 to love.
Yeah, would you expect anything different?
I don't know whether Zimmerman agrees. White, what a catch! Mike Renfro, leaping, diving catch for Renfro. 1st down at the Eagles' 20.
Little play action pass on 1st down. He's going to fake the ball to Herschel Walker. Now, we've talked about how conscious the Eagles are. You see them react. Mike Renfro coming from the top of your screen. Now, Danny just does, again, what he's done all afternoon. Hang the ball up in perfect shape. Renfro makes a great catch. He didn't have to go up in the air. He just could have kept on running.
first down at the 19 of the Eagles. Look at the Eagles shifting. For Walker, incomplete.
This one's going to come right at you. Danny White's going into the pocket. The blitz is on, which is nothing unusual. Herschel goes outside. Now he tries the old basket behind the back. Little hit me in the face. Throw it up in the air. You know, it's hard to catch a ball just as your head hits the ground and the ball's in front of it. It's like a soccer shot.
Look at this final. Pittsburgh over Cincinnati. And he thought the Bengals, serious Super Bowl contender this year. I wanted to have that tragic loss to San Francisco on the final play, leading to Pittsburgh. Screen pass, Dorsett. Touchdown. Tony Dorsett.
Boy, if you're a Cowboy fan, how many times have you seen the Dallas Cowboys get down to the 20-yard line, throw a little screen play to Tony Dorsett, and let him pick his way into the end zone? That time the Cowboys took advantage of the aggressive nature of the Philadelphia Eagles, let them all rush Danny White, dumps the ball out to Tony Dorsett on the left side, and Tony breaks it in for 6.
Steve Pelor had his bell rung there a few plays back, is out holding for the point after. We're glad to see that he's all right.
Hopefully he'll see only one ball.
Mike Roger Ruzek will be attempting the point after. 2:58 still to play. And Ruzek has the point after. And it's a 10-point margin.
Again, here come the Eagles. They're going to put a lot of pressure on Danny White. You see the moves up front. Ken Clark, Reggie White, Mike Pitts all putting pressure on. Now Tony Dorsett sifts out to the left. Jeff Zimmerman leading the way, gets a good block on Reichenbach. There you see Kerr lead the way. Rafferty's out front, and Tony just gets on into the end zone. Even Mike Renfro going to signal for the 6. That's always the job of the wide receiver downfield. Signal for the touchdown.
51 yards in 6 plays. Danny White to Dorsett for a 19-yard score and a 10-point deficit now. With 2:58 still to play, the Eagles led 13-10 at the half in a closely fought contest, with Dallas dominating in the offensive stats but turning the ball over and giving Eagles their scoring opportunities. Here in the second half, Dallas cut the margin early in the third period, but then Tony sent the Eagles up on top again 20-13, and now they have a 10-point lead with Dallas scoring on this last play.
There you see, they only had the play, you know, the most plays they've had is 7. Also on this last drive that went where they took the ball from Rome 49, it was 4th down and 4 when the ball was actually taken away but given back to him on a penalty.
Dallas showing an onside kick.
Maybe.
It's kept in play. Dallas says they have it. Hold on to your cowboy hats in Texas.
They do have it.
Discussion there. Gene Barth, the referee.
It's Cowboy ball.
Ron Francis came up with a football for the Cowboys, and it is Dallas ball.
There you're going to see the ball hit the ground. Now it's going to go up in the air. Right there, the ball goes up in the air. And the worst thing you can have it do is land back in the field. It's a jump ball, a mad pile up, and the Cowboys get on it.
All right, so the Cowboys with 2:51 to go and a 10-point deficit have successfully executed that onside kick.
Gene Barth explaining to everybody that the Dallas Cowboys have the football. That's what he said.
I'll take your word for it, because I couldn't hear him.
Well, look. That's
they have the ball.
That's right.
I'm denying that.
We had to say that.
Danny White at quarterback. Lots of time left. Deep for Barksdale and broken up by Roynell Young. Well, the Washington Redskins have pulled in front of the Jets 17-16 in the fourth quarter.
And that's the second time that there's one for you, Atlanta and Houston, 30-30. Lots of points on the board in this first week back to real football. That's the second time in the game that the Cowboys have tried to go after Roynell Young, and the second time in the game that he's knocked the ball away. They've worked on Elbert Fowles most of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to throw that. They do throw to the left side.
2nd and 10. To the short man, Barksdale, but he had to dive for the catch and was unable to get moving before the Eagles stopped him there. Gain of maybe 4 yards at most for Barksdale. Rod Barksdale, who came over from the Raiders in the trade for Ron Fellows, had not seen a lot of action today. Pass is coming his way, but he was the man they went too deep there.
Here's another one of those big situations in the ball game.
Third down. So far back, he ran into the official. 2 minutes to play.
Most bottled beers have to take the heat of pasteurization. And this can change their real taste. But there's one kind of beer that's not heat pasteurized, draft beer. And now there's real draft beer in bottles. Miller Genuine Draft. It's not heat pasteurized. It's cold filtered, so it retains all of its rich, smooth, real taste. Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
Radio Shack's sale price Tandy 1000 TX brings the gift of a true high-speed business computer to your home affordably. PC compatible, easy to use, with 7 ready-to-run programs for the family. Keep a budget. Write term papers, even create graphics or learn music. Save $250 on the high-speed Tandy 1000 TX, color monitor included, only $1249. Tandy computers, because there is no better gift value. Only at Radio Shack.
Used to be, an economy car was efficient and affordable, but a bit underpowered. That was then. This is now. The new, fuel-injected, 4-door Civic from Honda.
Danny White scrambling as he takes a snap from center. He feels the pressure from the defense. Now, the guy circled is Gene Barth, the referee. He's back to protect Danny White. Now, Reggie White flushes Danny White back to the left. Clyde Simmons, Dwayne Giles make the move, but he runs into Gene Barth. Now, he throws the ball down. He comes up in disgust. He says, for crying out loud, get out of the way. Gene says, look, Danny, I'm trying to get out of the way. He's also trying to protect him.
He's also 22 yards deep. He could have said, what are you doing back this far?
I wonder if he gets a half a sack.
4th down, they got to go again. White steps up. Incomplete. Intended for Gordon Banks. And the Cowboys have to surrender the ball. The Redskins squeaked it out against the Jets at home in Washington, 17-16, and Washington moves up to 5-1. A field goal by former Giant Ali Haji Sheikh, 28 yards out, provided the victory. Buddy Ryan feeling like maybe he's got this one in his win column, which would bring them to 2-4 as the Redskins have moved to 5-1. Dallas, if they lose here, they fall to 3-3. Cunningham to Myers. Myers got about a yard, and Dallas takes a timeout. Brooks and Jones on the tackle for the Cowboys. 1:49 on the clock. Dallas has 2 timeouts remaining.
And I'll guarantee you the coaches now, of course, Ernie Stautner and Tom Landry on the Dallas sideline saying, try and strip the ball away. Let's see if we can get the ball back. The Eagle coach is telling Randall Cunningham, when you go into the huddle, there's Tom talking to defense. Now, Buddy, all he's saying to Randall Cunningham is tell everybody to hang on to the football. We can run the clock out. We've got this thing if we don't put it on the ground.
Byers has 87 yards rushing today, Joe. He's had a real good afternoon for the Eagles, number 41.
And it's got to be
2 consecutive foot surgeries.
That's right. It's got to be a pleasant surprise because he's beginning to become the back that they'd hope he would.
2nd and 10. Byers again. Byers dances through a good hole at the point of attack and picks up about 6 yards. Michael Downs and Eugene Lockhart stop him.
You know, this is going to be a real test for Tom Landry and his football team. One way you solve problems on a football team when there's some kind of dissension is by winning. If you lose, it only compounds itself. I believe that Coach Landry, in all the years that he's coached, probably has his biggest challenge these next few weeks trying to keep his football team together.
Giants in front of St. Louis in another NFC East battle. Good point, Joe. It's going to be a most interesting remainder of the season. This score just handed me. The Tampa Bay Bucks were leading 20-0 in this game against the Bears. Miracle Man McMahon has just passed Neil Anderson, and it is now 27-26 Chicago with 1:28 to play. And you see the Eagles' schedule, as we pointed out earlier, 5 consecutive NFC East games. And this one, a huge one to them, counting today's game. Next week they go to St. Louis, and then Washington, the Giants, and St. Louis again.
Well, you know, Coach Landry said this is a 10-game season now. It's up to us to make something happen.
Cunningham with Rohrer in pursuit. Trying to dive out of bounds. He came up a little short.
No, that time not, Tim. What he did is that such tremendous presence of mind. He knows if he runs out of bounds that the clock gets stopped. He gets the first down. He goes down in bounds. The most important thing to the Eagles right now is keeping that clock running. That was a very smart move. That wasn't like the one last time where he slid and not gone out.
Joe, until he's actually touched by a cowboy, why would they even stop the play there until he's touched by a cowboy?
With the rule with the quarterbacks, if the quarterback makes a decision or an impetus that he's going to go down on his own, they blow him dead to protect him. So that's what he did. That's one of those new rules to protect the quarterback.
Even if it's not a slide, in other words.
If it's just as long as that was an ugly slide. That was a head-first ugly slide, is what that was. But that was a great presence of mind. His maturity, as I've mentioned all afternoon, has been the most impressive thing to me watching him play last year and this year.
24-yard line, a first down for the Eagles with 1:19 on the clock.
He's run the ball 6 times today for 43 yards. Of course, the most spectacular was in that drive, that 75-yard drive for a touchdown when he scrambled around for the big first down pickup.
Cowboys have used up their final timeout. And a delay of game against the Eagles. They had Tony lined up way back just to make sure he can cut off any bad things happening to them. San Francisco has stopped the Saints 24-22, a thriller there. And New Orleans will be at Atlanta next week here on CBS Sports. That starts at 12:30 Eastern time, and the doubleheader game will have the 49ers at the Rams. And San Francisco has moved to 5-1.
Eagles are going to just run the clock out now. Cunningham will take as many snaps that are necessary. All this is going to do is hurt his rushing yardage a little, but I'm sure he doesn't care, nor does Buddy Ryan.
30-20. Eagles lead the Cowboys. Under a minute.
The story of the game, really, the story of the game was the Cowboys had a lot of offense the first half. The Eagles weren't able to take advantage of the turnovers. In the second half, the Eagle offense came on, and the Cowboy offense kept on moving the ball. But I have to say that the Eagle offense did the job against that Cowboy defense the second half. The fans want to see him do something exciting.
Well, what's exciting is up on the scoreboard.
That's exactly right. I mean, you know, the ones that are left in here want to see him run around, but they're feeling real good about what the Eagles have done this afternoon.
Well, they were one of the few teams that had nobody cross the picket line. They built confidence and closeness during that period, and a victory here today over Dallas certainly will only improve that. Now Cunningham's going to throw it to Quick, and it is a flag down on the incompletion in the end zone. 2 seconds remain on the clock. Francis had the coverage for the Cowboys, and the Eagles will have the ball at the 1.
And the Eagles are, if you ask Buddy Ryan, did you try and rub it in? I don't think there'd be any question. Absolutely. He did not forget what happened 2 weeks ago when Tom Landry put Tony Dorsett and Danny White in the football game. Now, Tom's intentions may have been just to get his veterans some work, but Buddy Ryan obviously didn't feel that way. He said, to heck with it. Let's go after it. This is a little salt in the wound job.
What really irked Ryan that day was the first-team defense of those veterans, Randy White and Jones and Smirek, coming in with the Cowboys holding a commanding lead and time winding down.
If there wasn't bad blood before, there's going to be bad blood now.
Fire. Keith Byers capping off quite an afternoon for the young man from Ohio State. A 1-yard touchdown.
Buddy Ryan may have just become Texas's public enemy #1. Coach Landry cannot be happy. There you see the look. Just wonder what's going through his mind.
McFadden for the point after. Well, it was a creative way to rub salt in the wound.
Yeah, that's true.